I lay on the cold hospital bed, fingers wrapped around Lucas's hand. "Lucas," I whispered, "can you look at me?" He didn't. The heart monitor beeped slowly, like it was tired of trying. "Nurse," I said, forcing my voice up, "I'm scared." A woman replied softly, "I'm here. Try to breathe." I turned back to Lucas. "Did I do something wrong?"
"Tell me."
He shifted, eyes fixed on the door. "Stop talking. You need rest." "I gave up my job for you," I said. "I moved cities. I cut off everyone."
He sighed.
"You chose that." My chest hurt. "I chose you." His lips moved. I leaned closer. "Emma," he whispered. The sound shattered something inside me. "I'm still here," I said, tears sliding down. "I'm your wife."
He pulled his hand away.
"Don't make this harder." The monitor screamed. The nurse shouted, "We're losing her." "Lucas," I begged, "just say my name." He didn't answer. Darkness swallowed everything. When I opened my eyes, I gasped. "Easy," someone said. I stared at a familiar ceiling. "This isn't a hospital," I muttered. Lucas's voice came from beside the bed. "You're awake?" I turned sharply. He looked younger. So did the room. "What year is it?" I asked. He frowned. "What kind of question is that?" My heart pounded. "How long have we been married?" He laughed lightly. 3 months. "Are you sick?" 3 months. I swallowed hard.
"No."
"Just tired." He checked his phone. "I have a meeting." "Lucas," I said quickly, "do you love me?" He paused. "Why are you asking this now?" "Just answer." He shrugged. "Of course." The lie sounded familiar. After he left, I sat up, shaking. "I died," I whispered to myself. I remember dying. Tears came, but no sound followed. I pressed my hands to my chest. "So, this is rebirth." I remembered the hospital. His voice. Her name. "No more," I said quietly. I stood, walked to the mirror, and looked at my younger face. "I won't beg again," I told my reflection. Silence answered me. And for the first time, silence felt strong. I sat back down, breathing slowly. "This time," I said, "I will watch." The room felt quiet, waiting. My phone buzzed. A message lit up. "Dinner tonight?" Lucas texted. I typed, "Sure." My hands were steady. In my past life, I would have asked, "Are you busy?" Now I said nothing. I remembered his mother's voice. "You should be grateful," she once told me. I whispered. I was. The memory of her cold eyes burned. Another buzz came. Sophia's name appeared. "Are you okay?" she asked. "I am," I replied. "I really am." It felt strange telling the truth. I lay back and closed my eyes. I won't fight, I told myself. I won't explain. The hospital smell returned to my mind. The beep. The whisper. "Emma." My jaw tightened. "If you choose her again," I said softly, "I will choose myself." The thought didn't hurt. It healed. I opened my eyes and smiled. "Welcome back," I said to me. No tears fell. No promise was spoken aloud. But inside, something settled. I was alive. And this time I would live. I listened to the clock tick. Each sound felt like a step forward. I wasn't angry. I wasn't weak. I was awake. And that was enough for now. I placed my hand over my heart. It beat calmly. This life had restarted. I would not waste it on someone who never saw me. That quiet decision became the beginning of everything I would become from this moment on. Now Lucas was the same man I remembered. "I'm late," he said, grabbing his phone. "You just got home," I replied. He didn't answer. I watched him walk past me, tie loose, eyes already somewhere else. "Did you eat?" I asked. "I'll eat outside," he said. "With who?" He paused. "Clients." His phone rang. "Yes," he said softly. "I'm coming." The softness wasn't for me. I sat down slowly. When he hung up, I said, "You didn't hear a word I said." He sighed. "You're imagining things." I smiled. Maybe. Emma appeared that afternoon. Oh, Ivy, she said, holding my hands. You look tired. I'm fine, I replied. Lucas said, Emma just came to check on you. She laughed gently. I worry about her. I looked at their hands. They touched, then pulled away too late. You worry a lot, I said. Emma smiled. That's what friends do. Lucas avoided my eyes. So, Emma asked, are you happy? Yes, I said. The word tasted strange. Lucas checked his phone again. I'll drive Emma back, he said. I can go alone, she replied softly. He shook his head. It's late. I watched them leave together. My chest tightened, but I stayed quiet. Later, Sophia called. You sound different, she said. How so? I asked. Calmer, she replied. Are you okay? Yes, I said quickly. She paused. You never answer that way. I'm learning, I said. She laughed. Learning what? How to be quiet, I replied. That night, Lucas came home late. Did Emma get home safely? I asked. Yes, he said, surprised. You didn't ask before, he added. I didn't need to, I replied. He stared at me. You're acting strange. Am I? Yes, he said. You don't complain anymore. I didn't know you noticed, I said. He turned away. I followed him. Lucas, do you hear me when I talk? He said nothing. Lucas, I repeated. What? He snapped. Nothing, I said. He went to bed without another word. I lay beside him, awake. In my past life, I would have cried. Now I counted my breaths. The next day, Emma messaged me. Lunch together? She wrote. Sure, I replied. She looked relieved when we met. You're not angry? She asked. Why would I be? She smiled, uneasy. You're very understanding, she said. I always was, I replied. She didn't laugh. That silence felt heavy. Sophia texted later. Are you lying to me? She asked. Yes, I typed. About being okay? Yes. Why? Because I am choosing myself, I replied. I put my phone down. I looked at my reflection. My eyes were clear. I wasn't loud. I wasn't broken. I was watching. And for the first time, I understood something important. Strength didn't shout. It waited. I heard Lucas's voice before I saw him. I told you, he said quietly. Once the company stabilizes, I'll end it. My steps froze. Emma answered. She won't fight you. She never does, Lucas replied. I leaned closer to the door. I'll divorce her cleanly, he said. No drama. Emma laughed softly. You're cruel. He said. I'm honest. I saw her fingers curl around his arm. My chest burned, but I stayed still. In my past life, I screamed. This time, I listened. After that, Emma said, we can finally be together. Lucas didn't answer right away. That's the plan, he said at last. I stepped back quietly. At home, I locked the door and slid down. I remember this, I whispered. Tears fell without sound. I said, you chose her again. The room didn't answer. Hours passed. A knock broke the silence. Ivy, Daniel called. Open the door. I wiped my face and opened it. He frowned. What did he do? I said, he's leaving me. Daniel swore. I knew it. I said, don't shout. Why not? He asked. Because I won't beg, I replied. He stared at me. You've changed. I had to, I said. He hugged me tightly. You still have me, he said. And Mom, I added. And Dad, he said softly. My throat tightened. After Daniel left, I searched the drawer. My father's letter was there. Read it, I told myself. I unfolded it slowly. Never lose yourself for love, he wrote. I whispered. I already did. Then I shook my head. No, I said. I won't again. I folded the letter carefully. I placed it over my heart. Thank you, I said quietly. My phone buzzed. Lucas messaged. Working late. I typed. Okay. The word felt final. I looked around the room. Nothing had changed. But I had. I said, "This betrayal won't destroy me." I stood up straight. I washed my face. I looked into the mirror. "They think I'm weak," I said. "They're wrong." I turned off the light. That night, I slept without crying. For the first time, my heart felt guarded. Something fragile had died. Something stronger stayed. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. I said, "So this is the moment." My past self screamed inside me. I answered, "Be quiet." I remembered signing papers for him. I remembered smiling at lies. I said, "Never again." The clock ticked loudly. Each sound felt like a warning. I whispered, "I see everything now." I thought of Emma's smile. I said, "Enjoy it while it lasts." I imagined Lucas reading divorce terms. I said, "You will regret this." But there was no anger, only clarity. I rolled onto my side. I hugged the pillow. I told myself, "You survived death. This won't kill you." I closed my eyes. Sleep came slowly. In the dark, I promised, "I will endure." My breathing steadied. I said, "I am still here." The silence answered calmly. I felt the past loosen its grip. I didn't forgive him. I didn't hate him. I simply accepted the truth. I said, "This is my beginning." Tomorrow would test me. I was ready. I would watch. I would wait. And I would not break again. I knew pain would return. I knew temptation would whisper. I said, "I won't listen." My hand rested on my chest. The beat was steady. I counted it like a promise. Whatever came next, I would face it awake. This life was no longer about love. It was about survival. And I was done losing. I let the silence hold me. I let the truth settle. Morning would come soon. I would stand, not as a wife begging, not as a woman waiting, but as myself. That decision marked the start of everything I would become. From this night forward, I would not turn back. Ever. I chose silence and strength followed. I stopped asking questions. Lucas noticed immediately. "You're not calling anymore," he said one night. "Do I need to?" I asked. He frowned. "You used to." "I used to do many things," I replied. He studied my face. "Are you angry?" "No," I said. "That's worse," he muttered. I didn't wait for him anymore. When he came home late, I said, "Welcome back," and went to bed. "Nothing else?" he asked once. What else should I say? He had no answer. Emma started watching me closely. "Are you avoiding us?" she asked over coffee. "I'm busy," I replied. "With what?" "With me," I said. She laughed nervously. "You sound confident." "I feel quiet," I corrected. She tilted her head. "That's new." I smiled. I returned to my old work skills. Sophia watched me sketch designs again. "I thought you quit this," she said. I paused. I replied. "Why start now?" "Because I can," I said. She nodded slowly. "I like this version of you." Lucas grew restless. "You don't ask where I go," he said. "I trust you," I replied. He looked uncomfortable. One evening, I joined a small business meeting. "That's Ivy Carter," someone introduced me. Victor Hale shook my hand. "Nice to meet you," he said. "You listened carefully," I noticed later. He smiled. "I like hearing full thoughts." Lucas interrupted me out of habit. Victor raised a hand. "Let her finish." I froze. "Go on," Victor said calmly. I spoke. No one cut me off. Afterward, Victor said, "You have good ideas." "Thank you," I replied. Lucas stayed silent. On the drive home, he said, "You didn't tell me about this." "I didn't think I had to," I said. "You're changing," he accused. "I'm breathing," I replied. Emma called me later. "Lucas feels distant," she said. "So do I answered. She hesitated. "Is this about me?" "No," I said honestly. "It's about me." She didn't understand that. Victor sent a message the next day. "Good work today," he wrote. I replied, "I appreciated being heard." He answered, "That should be normal." That sentence stayed with me. Lucas watched me pack my bag one morning. Where are you going? To work, I said. You never dressed like that before. I never chose myself before, I replied.
He didn't speak.
At night, I sat alone and felt calm. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I whispered, "This is enough." Sophia hugged me once and said, "You're strong." I shook my head. "I'm steady." Lucas finally asked, "Do you still love me?" I paused. "I respect myself," I said. He stared, hurt and confused. I turned away gently. In the mirror, I saw someone new. Someone quiet. Someone unbreakable. I didn't win anything yet. I didn't lose anything either. I had space. I had breath. I had silence. And in that silence, I found something precious. Myself. Lucas finally asked the question one evening. "Why did you change?" I looked up from my phone. "People grow." His jaw tightened. "That's not an answer." "It's the only one I have," I said. "You don't care anymore," he snapped. "I care differently," I replied. He laughed without humor. "You're avoiding me." "I'm respecting myself," I said. He stood up. "You think you're better now?" "No," I answered. "I think I'm calmer." He slammed the door. The next week, his calls became louder. "Why are investors delaying?" he shouted into his phone. "I need that contract," he said later. I poured tea and asked, "Did it fall through?" He glared. "Stay out of it." I nodded. "All right." That scared him more than arguing. Sophia called me that night. "He's losing it," she said. "I know," I replied. "He keeps asking about you." "I'm not hiding," I said. "You're not chasing either," she said. "I'm done running," I answered. Victor stayed steady. "Things feel unstable," he said during a meeting. "They often do before change," I replied. He smiled slightly. "You're observant." Lucas interrupted. "We don't need philosophy." Victor looked at me. "Finish your thought." I did. Lucas didn't look at me afterward. Emma started coming by more often. "I just want to check on you," she said. "I'm fine," I replied. She sat stiffly. "You seem distant." "I feel peaceful," I said. She laughed nervously. "That's unusual." I poured tea and placed it in front of her. "You didn't ask about Lucas," she noted. "I trust him," I said. Her fingers tightened around the cup. "That's generous," she said. "It's quiet," I corrected. She watched me closely. "You're not angry at me?" she asked. "No," I said honestly. She swallowed. "That's worse." I smiled politely. When she left, I felt nothing. No jealousy. No pain. Just space. Lucas came home late again. "Why didn't you call?" he asked. "I didn't need to," I replied. He rubbed his face. "Everything is going wrong." "I'm sorry," I said. He stared. "That's it. What do you want me to say?" "Say you'll help," he snapped. "I am," I said, "by not interfering." He laughed bitterly. "You enjoy this." "I'm neutral," I replied. That night, he tossed in bed. "You're watching me fail," he said. "I'm watching you choose," I answered. He went silent. The next morning, his phone rang nonstop. "I need time," he shouted. I packed my bag calmly. "Where are you going?" he asked. "To work," I said. "You're leaving me like this?" "You're not alone," I replied. He looked confused. Victor messaged me later. "Stay steady," he wrote. "I am," I replied. Sophia sent another message. "He's blaming you now," she warned. "I expected that," I answered. Emma called at night. "He's stressed," she said softly. "I know," I replied. "You're not helping," she accused. "I'm not hurting either," I said. She went quiet. That silence frightened her. I realized something then. My calm had become a mirror. They saw themselves clearly. And they didn't like what they saw. I sat alone, holding my tea. I said quietly, "This is the shift." Lucas was losing control. I wasn't taking it. I was simply standing still. That balance terrified him. And for the first time, I felt completely safe inside myself. Ethan Moore walked into my life quietly. I'm handling a minor contract review, he said. Nothing serious?
I asked.
Nothing yet, he replied. I liked his honesty. He looked at the documents and paused. These assets, he said, are under your family name. Yes, I answered. Why is your husband controlling them? I said, I trusted him. Ethan nodded. That explains a lot. Explain what? I asked. He pointed. These transfers weren't discussed with you. I felt a slow chill. So he can do that? I asked. He did, Ethan replied. I exhaled. And Emma? Ethan hesitated. Her signature appears on negotiations. Without my consent, I said. Yes, he answered. I closed my eyes briefly. I already knew, I said. Ethan studied me. Then why are you calm? Because rage won't protect me, I replied. Patience might. He nodded. Do you want to act now? No, I said. Why wait? Because truth works better when it arrives alone, I answered. That night, Lucas asked, why are lawyers calling? Routine, I said. You're hiding something, he accused. I'm learning, I replied. He frowned. Learning what? How much was taken? I said quietly. He stiffened. You misunderstand. I understand enough, I replied. Emma messaged me later. Ethan Moore, she asked. Yes, I typed. Why him? Why you? I replied. She didn't answer. At dinner, Lucas said, You're planning something. No, I said. I'm observing. That's worse, he muttered. I remembered another night. The hospital bed. The machine beeping. Lucas whispering her name. I sat up, breathing hard. This isn't revenge. I told myself. This is balance. Ethan called the next day. There's more, he said. Tell me, I replied. Your father's company's shares were used as leverage. My voice dropped. Without permission? Yes, he answered. I stayed silent. You could stop this now, he said. I won't, I replied. Why? Because they believe I'm blind, I said. He paused. That belief will destroy them. Emma visited again. You look tired, she said. I slept well, I replied. She smiled tightly. That surprises me. It shouldn't, I said. She leaned closer. Ethan worries me. You worry yourself, I answered. Her eyes widened. Lucas interrupted. What are you two talking about? Nothing important, I said. Emma laughed. Just girl talk. I watched her lie. At night, the past returned. The nurse sang, I'm here. Lucas pulling away. I whispered. I survived that. So, I can survive this. Ethan sent me copies of files. Read when ready, he wrote. I replied, I'm always ready. Lucas paced the room later. Why are deals falling apart, he demanded. Maybe the foundation is weak, I said. He glared. You're enjoying this. I'm learning, I repeated. He slammed his hand down. Say something, he shouted. I am, I said softly. You're just not listening. Emma called that night. This is getting dangerous, she whispered. For who? I asked. For all of us, she said. I smiled to myself. Truth always feels dangerous, I replied. She hung up. I sat alone, holding the files. I said, not hate, not revenge. Justice. I placed them in a drawer. I wasn't ready to strike. I was ready to wait. The silence felt heavy, but right. I lay down and closed my eyes. I died once, I whispered. This won't end me. I chose patience. I chose clarity. And I let the truth rise slowly, like daylight that cannot be stopped. The collapse stopped being quiet. Lucas stopped hiding it. They pulled out, he said one morning. Who? I asked. Everyone, he snapped. I nodded. Margaret Reed came to the house that afternoon. This is your fault, she said the moment she saw me. I replied, sit down. She didn't. You ruined my son, she shouted. I stayed still. Say something, she demanded. I looked at her calmly. My silence enraged her. Don't act innocent, she said. I'm not acting, I replied. You manipulated him, she accused. I watched him, I said. That's worse, she snapped. She left shaking with anger. Victor called me later. I want to offer you something, he said. What kind of something? I asked. A partnership, he replied. I paused. You're capable, he added. I know, I said. He laughed softly. Then think about it, he said. I don't need to, I replied. I accept. That was fast, he said. I'm done waiting, I answered. Lucas found out 2 days later. You went behind my back, he accused. I walked beside myself. I said. You're betraying me, he shouted. I smiled slightly. That word sounds familiar, I replied. He stared at me. You planned this, he said. I prepared. I corrected. You're enjoying this, he accused. I'm standing, I replied. He slammed his fist on the table. You think you're powerful now? I think I'm independent, I said. That's the same thing, he muttered. Emma called me that night. Lucas is scared, she whispered. Of what? I asked. Of losing control, she said. I lost mine once, I replied. And I survived. She went silent. At the next meeting, Victor said, You lead this. Lucas looked stunned. Ivy, he said sharply. Yes, I answered. You didn't tell me, he said. I didn't ask permission, I replied. The room stayed quiet. Afterward, Lucas followed me outside. You humiliated me, he said. You ignored me for years, I answered.
That's different, he snapped.
No, I said. It's finally equal. He grabbed my arm. Let go, I said calmly.
He did.
Margaret called again. You think money makes you strong, she said. No, I replied. Choice does. She hung up on me. Sophia messaged me. I'm proud of you, she wrote. I'm calm, I replied. That's stronger, she said. That night, Lucas sat across from me. You changed everything, he said. I changed myself, I replied. You don't need me anymore, he said. I thought for a moment. I never did, I answered. His face went pale. I built this, he said. You used me, I replied. He laughed bitterly. You think you won, he said. I didn't compete, I answered. That confused him. I stood up slowly. For the first time, I said, I'm not standing behind you. I'm standing alone. He watched me leave the room. The irony pressed against my chest. He feared losing power. I had already let it go. Outside, the air felt lighter. I whispered, This is the shift. No applause followed. No anger rose. Only balance. Only space. Only me, finally upright. Emma called me to the cafe. Ivy, we need to talk, she said, voice tight.
About what?
I asked, stirring my tea slowly. About what you know, she said, avoiding my eyes. I know enough, I replied. Her hands shook. Enough, she whispered. Do you know how much he lied? How much he took? I know enough, I repeated calmly. She leaned forward, tears brimming.
Please, she begged.
Don't take him away.
He's all I have.
Don't ruin him. I studied her. You're afraid, I said softly. Of losing love, she asked. No, I replied. You're afraid of losing security. Her face paled. You always depended on him, I said. He's my life, she stammered. Not anymore, I said. She opened her mouth, then closed it. I stood slowly. I'm done, I said. Her voice cracked. Ivy, wait. I walked out without another word. Outside, the air felt sharp and clear. I felt nothing but quiet. That night, Lucas came home drunk. The smell of alcohol hit me as soon as he entered. You, he shouted.
What?
I asked, folding my hands calmly. You've ruined everything, he yelled. I've done nothing, I replied. You've taken her, he shouted. Who? I asked. Emma, he said, voice cracking. I never interfered, I said softly. You think you're clever, he spat. I think I survived, I replied. He slammed a glass on the table. You humiliated me in front of my clients, he shouted. I didn't humiliate you, I said. You're mocking me, he yelled. I'm observing, I corrected. Observing, he shouted. You betrayed me. I didn't stop you, I said quietly.
He froze.
You, he began, voice trembling. You destroyed yourself, I said, cutting him off. His hands shook. He staggered back, leaning against the wall. You think I don't know? He asked, eyes wide. Know what? I replied softly. That you've been plotting, he shouted. I haven't plotted anything, I said. You're lying, he roared. I only waited, I said. I never stopped you. You ruined me, he screamed. I shook my head. You did that yourself, I said. He sank onto the couch, head in his hands. I sat across from him quietly. No anger. No tears.
Just calm.
You could have chosen differently, I said softly. He looked up. I did, I continued. I chose myself. You chose destruction. He opened his mouth again, but no words came. I leaned back, folding my hands. Everything you built is crumbling, I said. He didn't respond. The room was silent except for his ragged breathing. You were warned, I whispered. He stared at me, wide-eyed, defeated. I didn't gloat. I didn't celebrate. I just watched. He finally understood. Not hatred, not anger, just the truth. And in that quiet, I felt the final weight lift. I had survived. I had remained steady. He had destroyed himself, and I had nothing left to prove. The knock on my door came late. I opened it slowly. Lucas stood there, disheveled, eyes red. Ivy, he said, voice shaking. What do you want? I asked calmly. I finally see you, he said. I tilted my head. After all this time? He swallowed hard. I'm sorry. For what? I asked softly. For everything, he whispered. I studied his face. No pride left. No arrogance. Just fear. You lost her, I said. He nodded. Emma, she's gone. And the company? I asked. It collapsed, he said quietly. Margaret called me once after that. She won't say a word. I murmured. Lucas looked at me, hands trembling. I didn't see it before, he said. I didn't look, I replied. You were right, he whispered. I was patient, I said. He flinched. You could've. I waited. I interrupted softly. You waited, he asked. Yes, I replied. For truth. His lips quivered. I should have loved you properly. I smiled faintly. It's too late. He stepped closer. Please, Ivy, hear me out. I've heard enough, I said quietly. You don't understand, he said. I understand perfectly, I replied. He looked down, ashamed. I destroyed everything, he said. You did, I said softly. He closed his eyes. I never realized. Now you do, I said. Tears welled up in his eyes. I begged you once, he whispered. I refused once. I reminded him. He shook his head. I was blind. You still are, I said. He fell silent. Ivy, please, he said finally. I shook my head gently. I won't open the door again. But he started. You had every chance, I said. I waited. I lived. You lost yourself in me once. I won't do that again. He swallowed, words failing him. Ivy, he said softly, voice breaking. Goodbye, Lucas, I said. I closed the door gently. The click sounded louder than any yell I could have made. I leaned against it for a moment. No anger rose. No tears fell. No regret touched me. Just peace. The air felt lighter. I exhaled slowly. He would carry his guilt. I would carry nothing. Outside, the wind whispered past the window. I smiled faintly. I had watched. I had waited. I had chosen silence over screams. And that choice had been louder than any revenge. Lucas pounded on the door, but I did not flinch. I did not open it. I only felt the quiet power of my own resolve. No words could reach me now. No apologies could change the past. I had learned patience. I had learned clarity. I had learned that peace was the ultimate victory. And in that quiet, I realized the truth. Revenge was not loud. Revenge was measured. Revenge was living well, while they suffered the consequence of their choices. I smiled again, closing the last trace of him from my life. He had arrived too late. I was already free, that I walked into the hospital quietly. The smell hit me first, antiseptic and memories. I paused in the hallway. This is where it ended, I whispered. Clara appeared around the corner. Ivy, she asked softly. Yes, I replied. She ran to me. You came back. I did, I said, smiling faintly. She held my hands tightly. I want to thank you, I said, voice trembling. For what? She asked. For being there, I said. For holding my hand when I left. Tears spilled. Clara wiped them gently. I never forgot you. I'm not the same, I said. You survived, she replied. That makes you the same and different. I nodded. We walked slowly down the corridor. The machines, the rooms did all feel smaller now, I said. Clara laughed softly. Time changes perspective. I lost myself there, I whispered. And you found yourself again, she said. I let my hands go. I cried for her, I admitted. Who? She asked. The woman I used to be, I said. She needed you to survive, Clara said. I exhaled slowly. Daniel appeared in the doorway. Ivy, he asked. I turned, and he ran to me. He hugged me tightly. I was so scared, he whispered. I know, I said. I know. He pulled back slightly, studying me. You look strong, he said. I feel stronger, I admitted. We sat in the small waiting area. I cried for her, I said again, softly. Daniel nodded. That's okay. She helped you become who you are now. I looked at the ceiling. The past doesn't haunt me, I said. No, he asked. No, I replied. It reminds me of my strength. Clara returned with a glass of water. You've come full circle, she said. I think so, I said. Ivy, healing isn't forgetting, Clara said. I know, I said. It's accepting. Daniel squeezed my hand. Then accept it fully, he said. I smiled. I will. The light outside felt different. Warmer. Calmer. I breathed deeply. I survived death, I whispered. And now, I said softly, I survive life. Clara looked at me, smiling. You'll make her proud, she said. I let my tears fall freely this time. Not for sadness. Not for pain. But for the woman I used to be. The woman who taught me patience, endurance, and courage. I wiped my eyes. I forgive myself, I whispered. Daniel hugged me again. The hospital felt quiet. Not heavy anymore. I stood slowly. Thank you, I said to Clara. She nodded. I walked toward the door. The sunlight touched my face. I inhaled deeply. I whispered, I am free. And I truly believed it. For the first time in years, I smiled without fear. I had let go of the past. And I was ready for the future. I walked into the boardroom and felt different. No nerves. No hesitation. Good morning, everyone, I said, voice steady. Victor looked at me and smiled. You're confident, he said. I've earned it, I replied. He nodded. Your designs are impressive, a client said. Thank you, I replied, presenting calmly. No one interrupted me. I spoke. They listened. I noticed the way they leaned in. Respect, not pity. After the meeting, Victor approached. You handled that well, he said. I'm learning, I replied. Learning what? He asked. To trust myself, I said. He laughed softly. Good answer. Later, Sophia called. Ivy, you sound alive, she said, teasing. I am, I replied. You finally stopped surviving, she laughed. Finally living, I corrected. She laughed again. I'm proud of you. Thanks, I said, smiling. I walked through the office, greeting my team. They smiled warmly. I remembered how I once felt invisible. Now, their eyes followed me with respect. Victor came over again. You're changing the company culture, he said. Only in ways that matter, I replied. He nodded approvingly. At lunch, Sophia joined me. You smile more, she said. I feel more, I replied. She laughed. You deserve it. I know, I said softly. Afterward, I checked on a new project. The team waited patiently while I spoke. They trusted my choices. I no longer needed approval. I no longer needed permission. That afternoon, I met Victor in his office. You never push, I said. Never needed to, he replied. I appreciate that, I said. You've built this yourself, he said. Yes, I replied, voice quiet but firm. That evening, I went home early. I sat in my apartment, watching the sunset. The quiet felt different, peaceful. I picked up my phone and saw messages from Sophia. Proud of you, she wrote. I typed back, I'm finally happy. Later, I prepared dinner calmly. No one interrupted me. I poured wine and sat alone. The silence felt full, not empty. I thought of Lucas, Emma, Margaret. No anger rose. No longing. Just clarity. I called Victor later. Everything is running smoothly, I said. Good, he replied. I sleep better, I admitted. So you should, he said softly. I smiled. At night, I went to bed without worry. No past shadowed me. No one controlled my life. I fell asleep easily. Dreamless, peaceful. I had the respect I craved, the confidence I needed, the life I always wanted. And I didn't beg for any of it. I woke the next morning, smiling again. I had built this life. With patience. With clarity. With myself. And for the first time, I knew I didn't need anyone to complete me. I was already whole. The city felt different without him. No calls. No messages. No rumors. Lucas had left, and the air was quieter. I walked down familiar streets, noticing how calm everything felt. People stopped talking about him. I said softly to myself. I went home and opened my drawer. The old letter from my father caught my eye. I read it slowly. Never lose yourself for love. Stand tall, no matter what breaks around you. I smiled faintly. I placed it in a small pile and lit a match. The paper curled and burned quietly. I didn't cry. I didn't feel pain. I only felt closure. Daniel called me later. Hey, how's everything? He asked. Quiet, I said. That's good, he replied. I mean peaceful, I corrected. That's even better, he said. I laughed softly. Later, I looked into the mirror. You've changed, I whispered. Yes, I replied to my reflection. I survived everything. Victor visited in the afternoon. You seem calm, he said. I am, I replied. You've really built yourself up, he said, smiling. I've built my life my way, I said. He nodded. Sophia texted me, teasing as always. You finally stopped worrying, she wrote. I'm living instead, I replied. She replied immediately. That's all I ever wanted for you. I placed my phone down and walked to the balcony. The sun felt warm on my face. No shadows of the past loomed. No anger lingered. No regrets weighed me down. I thought of Lucas, Emma, Margaret, all the chaos. I didn't feel the need to respond. I didn't need revenge. I had waited. I had endured. I had survived. I had healed. That alone was enough. I laughed softly, quietly to myself. I didn't scream. I didn't fight. I didn't need to destroy anyone. Life had done the work for me. The city moved around me, indifferent to everything I had endured. And I finally understood. The greatest punishment isn't loud. It isn't dramatic. It isn't obvious. The greatest punishment is silence. The kind that comes from living well while they are left with nothing but their choices. I turned back inside and looked around my apartment. Everything was in place. Everything reflected my life, my effort, my patience. I poured myself a glass of wine. To me, I whispered. I raised the glass, alone but complete. I smiled. This was victory. Not flashy. Not loud. But absolute. I had won. Without saying a word. Without begging. Without hate. I simply lived. And that life, calm and steady, was more powerful than anything I could have shouted or destroyed. I took a sip. I felt the weight of the past lift completely. I had survived death, betrayal, and heartbreak. And now I thrived. The sunlight touched my face. I smiled again. And in that quiet, I finally understood the truth. I didn't need them to see my victory. I only needed to feel it myself. And I did. I won. Without saying a word.